Welcome back to Hardball. There's a new front in the Republican Civil War out there. Incumbent Republican senators, many of them who would have a good chance of winning in a general election, are being challenged by the far right of their own party. The latest challenge is against Mississippi Republican Thad Cochran, who has served 6 terms in the Senate, accruing all the seniority and power that brings with it. But his challenger has a running start and support from the Club for Growth, which sponsored this ad, which you'll notice includes the Tea Party symbol, the Gadsden "Don't Tread on Me" flag.
Washington's a mess. Bailouts, record debts, government-run health care, career politicians bankrupting our country. Had enough? Chris McDaniel is a constitutional conservative with backbone. In the legislature, he stood up to the big spenders in both parties. In court, he represented Mississippi against Obamacare. Chris McDaniel, the new, strong conservative leader Mississippi needs.
Wow. Well, the GOP Civil War wave is spreading in the plains and southern states. Of course, here's where it stands right now. In Wyoming, Senator Mike Enzi, elected in 1996, faces a nasty challenge from Liz Cheney. In Kansas, senior Senator Pat Roberts, also elected in 96, is being primaried by a Tea Party-backed radiologist. In Tennessee, Lamar Alexander faces a Tea Party-backed opponent. In Kentucky, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, of course, has to first tangle with a Republican opponent before taking on a formidable Democratic one, who's, by the way, up by 2 points. And in Mississippi, as I mentioned, Senator Thad Cochran's got to fight his own party. In Georgia, there's at least 8 Republicans vying to replace the retiring Senator Saxby Chambliss. South Carolina, Senator Lindsey Graham faces a crowded field of Republicans determined to unseat him in a primary. These are the faces of veteran, powerful Republican senators who are forced to defend their seats against their own party. Michael Steele's an expert. He's a former chair of the RNC and an MSNBC political analyst. Michelle Goldberg writes for The Nation. You know, Michael, let's be sophisticated about this. Some of these states are so conservative that probably the most conservative candidate will win no matter what. If you look at South Carolina, if you look at Mississippi, I'm trying to think of the other one, Mississippi, maybe Wyoming. There's no way a Republican loses a general election unless they're either a witch or a nut. So basically, there's no danger here. But in 4 of these 7 races are reasonably close to the center states: Kansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and especially Georgia. So there is some danger there of creating a situation where whoever wins the primary is so far drawn to the right, incumbent or challenger, that they have really lost any chance of even winning a seat which is really safe for the R's.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Chris. And I would actually take South Carolina out of that first bucket of, guaranteed conservative win come next fall if, you have the wrong candidate there. South Carolina, as we've seen with North Carolina, Georgia, and elsewhere in the South, has a very sophisticated general electorate. And so the party has to be, I think, cognizant of these changes, certainly at the grassroots level. But even more broadly speaking, it's about managing a relationship with a burgeoning and still growing Tea Party element within the party, or well affiliated with the party, because these folks are not necessarily inside the party. They're not Republican hardcore activists in that sense. These are a lot of folks who've been disaffected or moved out of the party, who are coming back in through a different door and have aligned themselves politically. And the party has not managed that very well over the last 2 years.
Michelle, I have a sense, talking to people not just from the South but from New York State, for example, the Tea Party's still growing. I mean, we here at MSNBC may offer a different point of view most of the time, but I got to tell you, I sense it's still out there and festering. I don't think the center in the Republican Party that survives these years has been strong enough to take it on.